Hey Star Wars friends, I'm Father Roderick. Welcome back to my channel. I want to talk about Chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett because I'm still shaking. It was so incredible. It was everything and more than I could ever wish for. I would, without exaggeration, say that this was the best Star Wars moment since The Return of the Jedi, and I watched that movie in theaters. So I can't wait to share with you all the feelings and reactions and thoughts, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm first going to give you my initial thoughts, spoiler free, and then I'm going to show you the highlights of my immediate reactions and thoughts while I was watching the episode. And hopefully you feel what I felt at that moment. And it is just so incredible. I felt like an 8-year-old child again. I have some thoughts also as to what is the true meaning of what's at stake in this episode. And it has, I think, some very deep religious connotations as well. But I'll get to that later on. But first of all, spoiler free still. This seriously was so incredible on many different levels. First of all, the amazing special effects in this episode. And I'm not just talking about spaceships and stuff, but just the huge step forward in terms of what they can do with computer-generated graphics, with this deepfake technology. We knew that they had hired the guy who did like a remake of the final episode of The Mandalorian on YouTube and did actually a better job than what we saw in that episode. This is just really groundbreaking, and I think it has massive implications for the future of Star Wars, for storytelling, for movie making in general. Prepare to be blown away. Another thing that I loved about this episode is that it brought us to a new environment, which we haven't seen. Well, we've seen a few glimpses of it, but it is so well executed. We get some characters that I've been longing to see, and they're back. And you'll see in a minute, you'll see my first reaction and the surprise and the excitement when these characters appear. So on that level, wow, what a fantastic job they did. But that's not all. It then goes in depth, and it introduces us to the theme that we saw in the last episode. You know, these choices that characters have to make. Am I going to stay bounty hunter, or will I be a new kind of leader? Am I going to hold on to the values of the Mandalorians, or do I choose other values? And last week we saw this difficult choice that in a certain way was forced by the expulsion of the Mandalorian from the Mandalorian faith, you could say. In this episode, they take that same theme and they bring it so close to home. And I could so relate to the choices that are presented in this episode to us as well, because this is also about the choices that we make in life. Amazing. I mean, mind-blowingly well written. Then Dave Filoni, of course, was at the helm of this episode, and oh my gosh, he brought all this fantastic stuff that he introduced in the Clone Wars and in all the other stories. He brought it all together and just inserted it so well into this particular episode. Another thing that I loved, I'm gushing here, you know, is how they reconnected again with the prequels, and we get a little bit of backstory that was never revealed before. They also connect this episode with the oldest trilogy, with Return of the Jedi, in a way that I did not see coming, and I am so excited. And the thing they do the best, I think that this is why this episode is so epic, is that they fulfill an expectation, or maybe even a promise that was given to us in Return of the Jedi. This hope, this optimism, and that we didn't get in the sequels. And it disappointed a lot of people, but you always have to keep in mind this was years in the future. But people just missed something that was present in the original trilogy and that was kind of turned upside down, especially in The Last Jedi. But in this episode, We go back in time and we get what we so missed in the sequels. And now that it's here, you can totally feel it. That this is why some people were so upset, I think, with the sequels. And I'm not criticizing the sequels because they told the story that had to be told. But this is the ingredient. This was the linking pin between the original trilogy and the sequels, the emotional linking pin that we so longed for, and it's here now, and it's on a TV show, which is insane. This is still the spoiler-free part. We are about to begin the compilation of my initial reactions. There are a few more things I wanted to briefly mention here. I really loved the final part of the story, which gets very dramatic. We go back to, well, I'm not going to say anything, but everything in this episode is upping the stakes for this final episode, this final chapter, this big event, probably a big battle. And I can barely believe that they can fit all that into a satisfying conclusion. It feels like they're setting up an entire new season. Maybe they are. And then one last thing, the music in this episode, oh my gosh, it made me cry. I will talk about it in my initial reaction. You will hear what I have to say about the music. But there was this one moment where wow. All right, that wraps it up for my spoiler-free part of this episode. I'm now going to show you, and so this is going to be a bit choppy because I'm going to take out all the boring parts, but I'm just going to show you the highlights of my reaction, and let me know in the comments if you felt the same, if you felt different. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and also let me know what you think about these deeper layers that I will talk about at the end of this video, the choices that we're presented with, and if that resonates with you as much as it did with me. All right, enough. If you haven't seen the episode, why are you watching this? Go watch it. You will not regret it. And for those of you that have watched this and maybe are also kind of jumping up and down and, oh, we need to talk about this, stay tuned. Here we go. By the way, before we continue, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. That helps me out a big deal. All right, let's do the countdown. Are you ready for it? I'm so excited. Cool. See the armorer back? You see there's a religious crossroads here for Mando. He's going to adhere to the creed of his youth or take these new values to guide him. And here we're making the bridge to the muscle that he's hiring. Yes, the Mandalorian is back, I hope. No! Pay a visit to the little friend. Please, 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 please show us the little friend. Something tells me that we're not going to see him. Do you think we're going to see Grogu? I mean, I'm good either way. I'm preparing myself for disappointment. Please, 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 Grogu. We're back on Tatooine, so I guess no Grogu. And here are the Pikes. Ooh, they've got the ice machine. Again. Oh! Cobb's back! Awesome! Oh, this might be another one who's going to join the final fight. The Marshal is back. Oh, that is so cool. I'm so glad that he's back. It's such a great character. From the desert comes a stranger. Okay, I need you to do some research. Where does that title come from? Oh, cool! Yes! Yes! The Mandalorian is gonna meet our little friend. Oh, please. Yes! Oh! Oh, R2? R2 is back! R2 is back! Oh my gosh! Are we gonna see Luke? Of course we're gonna see Luke. Oh! Well, that's another little friend I wanted to see. Looking for Skywalker? Oh, seriously? Grogu. Oh, what if the kid is not there anymore? Oh, thank the maker. What is that? Whoa! Check that out. That's another Lego set. Oh, look at all those spider droids. Sweet. He's building the temple. He's powering off? What's going on with R2? What are they making there? Like a table? A bench? Just sit there? Please take a number. It's like Luke searching Yoda and then, he can't find him. There's just this little weird green guy. Of course, heightening the anticipation. Yes, there he is. Oh, holy cow. Oh my gosh, that looks so real. A one-eyed frog. Oh, that's his lunch. He's distracted. My goodness, that looks so real. He's using the Force to grab a snack. I love it. Oh, oh, this is already my favorite episode of the series. I mean, seriously, that just is Mark Hamill. I mean, how did they do that? Man, they made so much progress. When Luke appeared at the end of The Mandalorian, I was like, you can tell that it is CGI. Here, I can't tell anymore. Again, Lucasfilm is pushing the boundaries of what is possible. And now I am convinced they're going to bring back young Han Solo as well. Maybe even Lando. They can do anything now. If they can do this, seriously, I'm blown away. But his voice sounds younger as well. He's speaking riddles just like Jesus. Yeah, it's definitely a younger voice compared to the voice of Mark Hamill now, which is more gravelly. Remember, we go straight back to the era of the Clone Wars. And this is after Order 66, of course. So after Order 66, the Jedi were protecting Grogu. Oh my gosh, just look at that. That is Mark Hamill. How do they do this? Insane. Oh my gosh, this is the best Lucasfilm has ever done. Oh, he's just sleeping. He made himself a bed. R2 is back up. No! Ahsoka is back too! Holy moly! Wow! This is so cool! Oh my gosh, that interaction between R2 and Ahsoka is fantastic. Yeah, they're totally building up to the sequels. Grogu is the first student! Oh my gosh! This whole idea of letting go of attachments, of course, is very Jedi-like, but loyalty is very Mandalorian. So detachment versus attachment. That's deep. I don't control the wants of others. Ah, is he a foundling Mandalorian, or is he Padawan Jedi? So that's the choice they were setting up in these previews. This is so beautiful. Mando wants to see Grogu, but it's going to make it so hard for Grogu to fully focus on his training, and now he's got to make a decision to let go of Grogu. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I'm so sad. That music. You hear the flute. Oh man, this is pulling on the heartstrings so much. Oh, and then he's leaving. The puppeteering of Grogu is again so good. Let's see you jump. Oh, he's going to learn how to jump? Like Yoda did? Remember Yoda was doing all the jumping in the prequels? I mean, how gutsy is this to do like half of the episode with a character that is just CGI. Well, partially CGI. Oh my gosh, he's doing the same jumps that he did on Dagobah. This has also a bit of the same vibe as Rey's training. And you know what I love? This is the happy Luke. This is still in his prime when he's filled with hope. The Force theme, you heard that? Oh my gosh. This is the best thing that happened since the Return of the Jedi. Oh, he's balancing on one foot. Karate Kid. Remember that? How cute is this? Now he needs to stay focused, of course. Oh, yes, the little training droid. How is Grogu going to fight the training remote? Because he has no lightsaber. They must have used computer technology also to change the voice of Luke. Oh, no. Always get back up. Some Rocky vibes here. He did the jump. That's how he learns to jump. Oh, my gosh. Just like the frogs, actually. Oh, wow. They totally solved his mobility problem. And this is so cool that they harken back to Yoda's jumping in the Imperial Senate, which looked always a bit kind of awkward to me. Like, that is so not Yoda to be jumping around like that in his fight with the Emperor, or, well, the Senator. And now we see that this is actually quite common because, well, they're frog-like, so it makes sense for them to do the jumping. So they're kind of retconning a lot of stuff that George Lucas did in a nutshell. And then, but here they give it so much more oomph. He just destroyed the drone. Luke is like, good, I need to order a new one. They're seriously doing just on-screen acting between these two actors. Student guides the master. I really love this portrayal of Ahsoka. I actually think that she's better here than in, for instance, Star Wars Rebels, where Ahsoka is too serious, too distant. Here she smiles and she's got a bit more kind of like warmth to her character. Yeah, so much like your father. Oops. Don't mention the father. This is setting up something interesting. The possibility that Grogu becomes actually a bit like Anakin. Trust your instincts. First thing that Luke learns when he's in his X-Wing heading to the Death Star. I seriously cannot believe that I'm looking at an episode, a TV episode that has Luke Skywalker in it. And this is what so many fans wanted to see in the sequels, and that's why they were so disappointed. And here we get to see it in a TV show, and it's everything we could ever hope for, but I never thought we would see this. This is insanely good, what they're doing with this series. That was just heartbreaking that he gave up his own fatherly feelings for Grogu, letting him go basically to go to seminary. It's kind of a bit what Jesus also says, you know, you have to leave your father and mother if you want to be with me. Leave everything behind. But then we always see it from the perspective of the pupil, of the seminarian. Now we get to see the other perspective of the parent that has to let go of the child. Oh, the punks are back. At least some of our fans will have something to complain about in this episode. This is also classic Star Wars where they gather around a hologram. That nod! Totally Return of the Jedi in Jabba's palace. You know, that little nod towards... It's the Boba Fett nod. Foot soldiers. Interesting. Who are the foot soldiers? Whoa, seriously. Oh, the head of the crate dragon. And they're carrying it as a trophy. No, they're going to use their Jawas as foot soldiers? Oh my gosh, they're just like waving. Who is this again? Have we seen him before? It's another marshal. Oh, the deputy. And there's the marshal. How cool. They have that same cowboy outfit. Whoa. Look at the decoration of this place. Again, with the Krayt Dragon remains. That is so cool. It makes so much sense that they would use the leftover carcass for stuff like this. You know, I'm still thinking foot soldiers, Tusken Raiders. It doesn't make sense to use the Jawa for that. City versus countryside. It's strange that they changed the name, the Moss something something name, which is probably kind of the native name, to something that sounds a bit more Western. Gonna do a town meeting. So he's gonna tell them probably the implications, because he knows that this is the Pike Syndicate is behind this. So you can't really stay away from this big fight that is coming, because this is gonna affect the entire planet. So you can't be an isolationist. No! 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 They're gonna bring him back? Bane? I did not expect him to do this. This is going to be the all-time favorite episode of every Star Wars fan on the planet. It is Cad Bane. It's him. It is totally him. Oh, it is him. Oh my gosh. And it's so well done with the whole gunfight moment thing. Yes. Yes. This is insane. On his face is not as blue. And of course he works for the bad guys. Look at the animation of the face. Uh-oh. Stay out of that. He's gonna get killed. You know what? The skin color, that was why I thought they would never do it in real life, because it's just too blue. And oh, wow. And it totally works. Good grief, look at that animation. Is that animation or is that real? Is that a mask? Without the armor. Oh! Oh! Oh, I knew it! Oh, no. They didn't. Oh, he may still be alive. Can someone call a doctor? Yeah, Matt Pack. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so he is still alive. Oh, thank goodness. And now he actually rallies everyone against the Pikes, of course. So this is even better than the talk he was going to do, because now they tried to kill their favorite sheriff. Everybody has a personal beef with these Pikes now. Oh no! School is ready. We're back with Grogu. These are my favorite scenes since Return of the Jedi. Handing over the armor. It's like another rite of passage, of course. It's like, being ordained a deacon, and then you get your first stole and alp. Oh my gosh. A choice. Lightsaber? Lightsaber? Yes, lightsaber! Oh my gosh. He made a little tiny little lightsaber. He's going to choose a lightsaber. I tell you that. So the choice they were setting up between Jedi, Mandalorian, and Grogu gets to choose. Oh, this is classic mythology. Oh, what a conundrum. Oh no. You may never see the Mandalorian again. He's going to pick the chainmail. This is a bit like the elves, in Lord of the Rings, where they know that they're going to live much longer than anyone else. And so he's going to lose the Mandalorian over time. So is he going to choose the Force, the eternal Force, or this personal human attachment, or attachment to this human? We're not going to see him choose. Are we going to see him choose? No. They're going to keep that. Yes, I knew it. That's the best cliffhanger ever. Oh my goodness. Seriously, Lucasfilm. Thank you. And that choice, that impossible choice between the values of the Mandalorian and the values of the Jedi. And you know what I love is also that Mando really sacrificed himself, or sacrificed his own feelings, in order to make sure that Grogu has a free choice. My gut feeling tells me that he's going for Mando. And you know why? Because of the ship, the Naboo starfighter. There is this little cockpit that needs Grogu. But I also want to see him as a Jedi. Why can't he do both? Just first go back to Mando, and then when he grows older, he can still become a Jedi? Why not? It's too much. My heart. Why should he choose? A lot of you are asking. This is because being a Jedi requires total commitment. This is basically the same that is asked of us priests. It's like choose a family, having children, being married, or choose a celibate life where you dedicate yourself entirely to God, and you have that relationship with God, who is eternal. And it's the same conundrum. So it's all about total commitment. And that makes sense because we're talking about both the Mandalorian way and the Jedi way as religious ways. These are metaphors of religious choices. And in this case, also Mando has stepped away from his faith that is also very, you can never take off your mask, so you can never truly be human. And he chooses attachment and the values of friendship and love, and the fact that he took off his helmet, he broke the rules. So now he's an outcast, and I think that Grogu's probably going to do the same. He's going to have to step away from the Jedi, his folk, in order to join this Lone Ranger, and because they belong together. I think we can all agree. Mando is only half the person without Grogu, and Grogu in a similar way. I mean, he's hugely talented. But think of Luke, who stepped away from his training on Dagobah. Why? Because his attachment to his friends was more important to him. And in that sense, maybe the student guides the master in that respect. in terms of values. So I think it would be, the more I think of it, the more logical it is that Grogu is going to choose for Mando. So because these two characters are too similar. It's strange because we're talking about, you could have two more dissimilar characters, but they belong together. And so it makes sense. But they both have to give up so much in order to be together. I mean, isn't that the most amazing story thread ever? Hats off. Hats off to the writers. Hats off to everyone at Lucasfilm. I love this universe. I love these stories. And yeah, and I can relate. Because this story is also about me and the choices I made in my life. This is about you and the choices that you make in your life. This is about such fundamental themes. And that is why Star Wars is one of the most brilliant stories of our time. Yeah, Boba is not in this episode very much either, but it's all preparing us for the big finale. But because Boba in itself he's not that important. He's like Moses. He's the leader. He is taking the lead, but it's all about the people that follow him and how they come together. That is the real story of Moses. Again, Moses is nothing without the people following him and without God. And it's parallel to this. Boba Fett is nothing without the people that he gathers, his family, his friends. They keep deepening and adding layers to the story. This is also very much what you see in biblical writing. You know, the stories that we finally end up reading in the Bible are filled with layers, narrative layers, where every new generation would add context, subcontext. They would use their own situation and weave that into stories that happened decades ago. And that is why the Bible is so deep. There's so many layers of experience, emotional depth, spiritual depth that are added to the story, and that's exactly what Star Wars is doing here. We are witnessing the making of a new mythology. It teaches us so much about storytelling in general and about how our biblical stories came about, how mythology evolved, and think of how the Romans, the Latin culture, took the existing mythology of the Greeks and started to add layers and change it a little bit and reframing it and adding new perspectives. And now Star Wars is taking those old mythology stories and adding even more layers, and it's just amazing. All right, that wraps up my initial reaction to this amazing episode of the Book of Boba Fett. I am so happy to be a Star Wars fan. Thank you so much for watching this all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and especially let me know in the comments your thoughts and your feelings, especially your feelings. May the Force be with you.